Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Mind Your Character. My name is Bosede Olusola-Obasa, and this is your launch hour show that never leaves you the same way. We always leave you better than we met you. And I have my co-host right here with me in the studio, and the person of Dorcas Aditya. Dorcas, how are you doing today?
Yo, good afternoon. I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show once again. Welcome everyone watching. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. You're welcome.
Yeah. You're welcome as well. It feels good to be here once again, and it feels good to be the host once again, right?
Yeah.
I'm liking it. So we have Mrs. Bosede Olusola-Obasa as well in the studio. She says she doesn't want to be called a guest, but she's actually our guest.
Yes.
She's our guest. Thank you very much. So we started a series last week, but let me first introduce the lovely, delectable Mrs. Bosede Olusola-Obasa. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
I believe you can all see her shirt. She has character coach.
Yeah, Rich is very bold.
People don't have reservations about the word coach.
She's our guy, though she likes to hide it. She's the coach. So yeah, it promises to be another exciting time on the show. And like I said earlier, it's your launch hour show. It's the TGIF. It's a Friday show. So feel free to relax, and we'll be giving you as it's hot. So like we always do, first part of the show is character lens. And a couple of weeks ago, we brought the fact that the female basketball team had been banned for 2 years, and luckily, thanks to thanks to federal government, the ban has been reversed.
Yeah.
So yes, and so the 2-year ban, which was imposed on our ladies.
2 years already.
No. It was actually imposed this year, so it was meant to run until 2024. But a letter was written, and so our ladies are now free. So let's hope those who said they were never going to don on a basketball jersey actually come back, because it's one thing for you to give your word and to stick by your word. So now they've not actually come out. The ladies themselves haven't come out to say anything. But let's hope and pray that they do come back, because as it is, we have qualified for the World Cup, so definitely our ticket is still valid. So let's hope that we now have athletes that will turn up to the occasion.
And we're wishing them the best of luck as well.
We are wishing them the very best. Okay, so Mrs. Bosede Olusola-Obasa, our guest on Mind Your Character. How does that feel? How does it feel to be a guest on the show called Mind Your Character with Bosede
Because you
Olusola-Obasa?
can't keep talking about the guest thing. I'm never going to agree. I'm not a guest. I'm just one of them. Just happened that I have some stories, juicy stories to tell, and we decided to dedicate some weeks around this period to share, so that we can inspire. So it's actually a storytelling series that should inspire you.
Yeah, okay. So remember last week she gave a story. She went to interview a lady, and the lady kept saying, don't start recording. And I remember a few tips that she gave us then. She actually went longhand and she started writing down everything. So imagine, she said, as the lady was saying, don't start recording. And after 2 hours, after 2 hours, she just said, okay, we are done. And I'm like, Mom, I've not started recording. So one of the lessons she learned was, don't do away with your biro and your pen. When you go for interviews, always ensure you have that. So even if you have your midget, what if at that point the battery just goes flat? So those were one of the lessons I picked. Did you pick any lessons from the stories?
Yes. Last week, it was basically being courageous, going after what it is you want. Because like you said, when the woman said don't record, don't start. What if she had cold feet? That
sounds like don't stop.
What if she had cold feet and she felt like, okay, will the woman even get angry? She sees me writing and all of that. it was a good step she took by writing. I mean, that was that was another level.
Well, at least
You that you know that you can't go to office and tell them you didn't get the story.
Exactly.
Well, the good part is she didn't say you shouldn't write.
No.
Because I'm not trying to picture
at the
that.
point I just got, like, I talk about presence of mind,
Yeah.
and being focused, and then being desperate. I remember that desperation was key. It was my first interview ever. I just moved to that title, and I needed to make a strong statement coming. This was a beautiful face, and then she also had a beautiful story. But then she kept saying don't record. So maybe it was that she was scared of me just, I don't know. But I knew she was telling the story already. So in my head I'm like, I'm not a babe in this profession now, so I know you already have the story that I'm here for. And another thing I think worked well was that I was able to recap what she said without any mix-ups. Because that would have been an issue.
Imagine we are going to take the interview from the head of like two weeks ago and coming to that.
Oh no.
Okay, so today is a fresh day.
Yeah.
And today is the 24th day in the month of June.
Yes.
Still my birthday.
I knew where that was going.
Yeah.
You have 6 days.
Ah,
6 days for this classes to be
yes.
over.
6 days too
The
much.
months seem to have been fast.
Yeah.
Yes, very
That's
fast.
what happens when you're having
It seems
fun.
so. Oh yeah, we must have been having fun.
Yes, exactly.
Thank God for Nigeria.
Yes, exactly. Thank God for Nigeria. So today, Mrs. Bosede Olusola-Obasa,
Yes.
what do you have for
I
us,
have another story.
and what do you have for our viewers?
I have another interesting story.
Okay.
This one happened in 2013.
That was some 9 years down
Yes,
the line.
it was one of the last few major jobs I did before I left the Punch, because I resigned in the year 2015 precisely. Did I say 2014?
2014.
Thank you, Jerry. 2014. I begin to lose the details. 2014, precisely March. So I dropped my resignation in February. 1 month after, in March, I exited. Well, it was one of those. So that's why 2013 is, I remember very well.
What beast were you called?
I was a features. Don't forget I told you that.
Yeah.
There was a time I was doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was one of those writing feature stories, but that was not all. There was no way you could be doing just one thing. I mean, that was impossible. You would have a lot of things you do. You do interviews, you do features.
But what I've always thought to myself, was it just the journalists? Like people in accounting, do they always do other things as well? Or?
I will not know.
Because I've always been thinking about that.
I will
Because
not know. I will not know.
you always say Punch is where you don't do one thing, you do multiple things.
As a reporter.
As a reporter.
I don't even know what happens in other departments. So I'm talking about my own constituency where I know. I don't know whether they have to do, but I know that that's where you have a lot to do. You'll be useful for yourself. By the time you are done, you will wish you had 25 hours of the day. So this particular story has to do with the law school in Lagos.
We're eager to hear.
Law school.
All our learned brothers and sisters. We're calling them
Learned fellow.
So it's the campus in Lagos. You know there are several campuses around Nigeria. So
Yeah.
particularly the one in Lagos. A particular man, I'm going to keep names out
Please, let's
for
do
obvious
that.
reasons. So there's a particular man who had lived in the UK for some decades and had practiced as a lawyer. But I think there's this law that says that once you come back to Nigeria, you had to go through the law school to be called to the bar. So he was observing, he came back to Nigeria and wanted to continue practicing here after maybe like 20 years of practice in the UK. So I think that's a process that helps you get, baptized into the way things work here as against where you're coming from. So yes, he did what he should, got into the law school, but there were things he could not just come back. So he reached out to a friend of his, a long-time friend of his, who is someone that I know and the entire newsroom know. If I mention his name, he's late now. God bless his soul. But he's a very strong and prominent civil society person. All these pressure groups, and they can stay on the neck of any political leader any day. So that person happened to be the friend of this lawyer. Both of them are Nigerians, don't forget. Just that this one has stayed in the abroad for some time practice, and this person is in the place of social works. So he narrated the story to his Nigerian friend, that right there in the hall where they take lectures, students were fainting. When I say students, I'm talking about our lawyers to be. They go to school.
Yeah.
They are trying to complete the statutory procedures to be called to the bar. So right there in the hall, people who should be holding brief for our own case were undergoing some issues, and everything was covered. Until this particular man who had stayed abroad said, there's no way I'm going to keep quiet. Let it not be me that will be the next person that will faint and die. There was no case of people dying, but
yes,
people
that was the next question.
So
maybe that was why they were keeping it on
he
that.
told, there'll be more to it now. I'm sure there would have been reports, but since it's still within that four walls, nobody might know what's happening. So he told that his friend, and his friend reached out to the newsroom, told my editor about it, and my editor said, "Bosede, there's this story." He gave me updates. I should call the man that gave us the tip-off. I called him, he updated me, and then gave me the contact of that lawyer, the Abroadian lawyer. So when I called him, he was like, "Oh, that please, how can you people? I need this story to be out there." That he knows that if it's out there, something will change. And it's unfortunate that many of those similar stories that I did, my own joy anyway, it's unfortunate that they don't usually will not do anything different until the story is out there. It's very unfortunate. But writing stories like that has helped me see that if you don't make a noise about something, particularly using the right platform, your enemy might just be languishing. So he gave me all the stories. Next thing, so I had to sit down and think of how to go about this. Then I called him and said, "I would like to come to the school, and that I'm thinking of the best way to get my own first-hand experience without having to rely on what somebody is telling me." Because see, if you enter, the average journalist knows that if you step into a like and you say you're asking direct questions, they'll give you direct answer.
Sure.
And the direct answer will be in their favor. So what you're trying to unearth will still be covered at the end of the day. So here was what I had to do. I had to dress like one of the lawyers to be. Now, remember that I'm not a lawyer, I'm a journalist. Remember that I had not studied law. And I was not even in the, law school. But I needed to do this story. So that was it. I had to wear white. So before I
So you went in the white and black.
Before I went that day, I didn't have the luxury of taking pictures. I had my life in my mouth, like, what if I'm caught? I had all those fears. So I asked my critical questions. Would I need an ID card to pass through the gate? He said no. Okay. Are they likely to do? I make sure that I ask all the critical questions just to be sure of my safety. Because yes, I need this story, but I also need to be alive.
Very important.
So that was it. I got there and met the man who welcomed me, and so he was the only one who knew who I was. We're chatting, we're talking, we're giving me updates. I went to the theater hall, the lecture hall, and it happened again while I was there. So I took a picture of the hall, how condensed,
Was everybody seated or some people were
seated? It was
no ventilation.
Stressful, yeah, because the way the place is built is airtight.
There was no
Airtight without this.
when you
I'm just trying to picture because I know how lecture halls are.
Yes.
It goes like this.
Yes.
And airtight. Wow.
That's serious.
Take it easy.
Okay, so I probably was shouting. Okay, so it was airtight because it was meant to be air conditioned.
Yeah.
And
That's how lecture theater should actually.
So what they had to do was open the door. But still
Which
was
can
not
never
enough.
be
It
enough.
was never enough. and that went on. I stayed. I was there for hours. Again, water.
You are human. Because going back to how it was, I'm trying to picture it now.
No, it's a fine place, you know, curtains, everything, but it was meant to be air conditioned.
Could it also be an issue of overpopulation?
That's why I asked if everybody was, if people
To a
were
large
standing.
Because I think, yes, that's
To a large extent, it was filled to capacity. Everybody wants that campus.
Lagos.
Very few people want to go to any other one, except Abuja again. So
Yes.
you can understand
Nobody
why.
wants to go to Enugu.
Enugu or
So as I was saying, I was talking with the man. We first start at the corridor, and then it was time to converge. We went into the hall. I sat there. He was doing his thing. I was doing my own. And at a point, I noticed that someone flew dead, and everywhere scattered.
everywhere we scatter.
Everywhere scattered. I took the picture. I took the video. I had to do everything, being
By yourself.
careful. No, I wish it was the by yourself thing. I was the only one in that campus that knew that I was from Punch. If they grabbed me like that,
You might not come out.
so I had that risk in my mind. I was scared, but I had to do what I had to do. So yes, I got
And
the picture.
2013,
And you know, there's
people
a
were
way
not
you
really
stylishly.
taking pictures like that.
There's a way you stylishly
Take
record
pictures.
anything you want to record.
You
If
know
you are
that?
too So I did what I had to do. After that, because it happened again, it made it easy for me to now invite some of the students. You know, I just turned it like gisting. That this thing with the apple say, you know, I'll just meet this person, try to chat them up, and that this thing is really mad. Blah blah blah.
Well,
You
I'm
know?
sure you were like perfect fit into.
I had the
You're
stature
not
really
the
helped.
stature,
No,
exactly.
the stature helped. I had my skirt, my white tugged into my skirt.
I really we
I'm
are
just
not
trying to
see a
imagine.
picture.
I like to.
I don't have the luxury of snapping any picture. So that went, and I chatted 1, 2, 3. Then to a few of them, when I stepped outside downstairs, I let some of them know that I was a journalist and I was doing an undercover story of what was happening there. I wanted to come as close to reality on this issue as possible. That is important because
You get mine though.
the
Honestly.
media house where I work for will not publish anything that is not true.
Yes.
And they will not even take the risk of you trying to make that brand suffer any reputation issues.
Yeah.
So I had all of that. Thankfully, my editor knew that I was going to that escapade.
Did they plant anybody outside?
No. I went all by myself. I went. There's a way editors usually know that you're a lady. You get through a lot of things. You pass through security. Yes. So in time, or sometimes when stories are like that, you look, if you have a smart lady on your team, you're better off. Not because the guys will not do the story, but because people will hardly bring any serious. So, but good enough. There was even no need for an ID card or anything. I just went through. I greeted them. Entered, went upstairs. The man already was speaking, so he told me where he was. I just come upstairs. I'm at this part of the veranda of the theater hall, and that was it. When I was done, got downstairs, told a few, because I already had studied and know who I could talk to. The issue had happened hot, so they were willing to vent, talk.
Yes.
So I got people on record.
Now, should we say thank God people fainted that?
Yes, it worked in my favor. The man actually said that it happened very, very frequently, and that's why he thought that no, this couldn't continue. And that students had made reports to both DG and the management, and nothing was promised. So, the excitement of knowing that you have that end tied up. The next thing I had to do was to speak to management. So I told myself that I will not go. I cannot show up in that white and black. And another thing is, each time you want to talk to all these these people in management position in particularly public sector based offices. They will have this bureaucracy and protocol that journalists don't like to go through. I have a story to write. Answer me, make a deal. You know, they might say, wait, he's not around, he's coming back, she's coming back. So I decided that I was going to do a phone call. That if the person insisted that I had to come, then I'll have to come another day. Do you understand? Because I couldn't do that same day. So I called, and then a female voice picked. I think they called the ones in charge of other campuses deputy director generals. The one in the headquarters is the DG, the main DG. So I spoke to the person and said, well, so I was able to talk confidently that people are fainting.
I'd like to hear the response.
And that, what have you done about it? Why are you waiting till it becomes very casual? A casualty that you cannot control. That why? And then these people are lawyers who are supposed to be holding brief for others. They're also facing this kind of situation. How can they ever come outside and fight for anybody when their own rights have been trampled upon? She must have said, which kind of journalist is talking to me like this? Anyway, I had my story. So it was outside the gate I made the call. I didn't make the call inside. I mean, I had to think of everything I was doing very well. I had a clear head.
But you had gotten the number before then.
Oh, of course. I came prepared. I came prepared. I had a number. I had
you get away car also.
So there was no getaway car. There was no getaway car at all. So, and then she went, no, nothing like that. Blah, blah, blah. Everything is fine. This is just a small technical. I'm like, okay. So, but the good thing about, again, the media house where I work is, you must, so I had to press record on my phone to take down what she was saying. Just in case she tries to say she didn't speak to me or that I didn't reach, because the worst thing you can do is to do a story and it's one-sided. No matter how juicy or realistic the story seems, you must always, that's fairness and trying to be accurate. So I got that, and I just called my editor and like, got the story, and I started running back. Went back to the office, did the story. But where is the most important part of this story for me? The one that really, I said last week that I never got any awards, like plaque awards, but I got plenty awards as a developmental person working with people. So I left, did the story, and that was one story I had to shut my phone on Saturday. Yeah, there are Saturdays when my phone goes off, like I'll just deliberately in the morning. By afternoon I'll on it. I know that the thing would have simmered in their body. Maybe they're already planning how to do press conference to debunk the story, to explain that the reporter has clinical. So I off my phone. By afternoon I turned it on, everything was fine, and there were reactions from, I think there was a press conference or something, to tell other journalists how that this is not true, it's not our negligence, blah blah blah. Anyway, but the story had been done and it was in the public clear. My joy in December that same year was that I had to go back there for a book launch. A book written by a top, I'll leave the name out again, a top legal luminary in this country. Had written a book, and there was going to be, lawyers were going to use that hall. Big lawyers were going to use that hall for that book launch. And when
let me guess, this wanted to kill you.
When I got there that day, the hall was chill. I'm like, yes, this is life. For me, that was reward. For me, that was, nothing beats the fact that you know that you're a change agent. So it's not today that I've started being a change agent. I've always believed that whatever you do, use it to make the world better. And that's actually what my life mission statement is. Leaving people and places better than I made them, and adding value. So if an activity has no value to be added, be sure that you will not even find me beside it. Okay, so that's the story today.
So
Wow.
you mentioned that you never got accolades like that. So let me congratulate you.
No, I didn't say I didn't get accolades.
Yeah, like
You know, accolades definitely. No, of course, your editors will always give you the thumbs up and all.
Yeah.
That's not the one I'm saying. But maybe like the story was entered for. You know, it's not just having a good story that matters. It is entering the story for a competition. You can be the most beautiful girl, but if you don't enter for a pageantry, you will.
you remain in your father's house.
You made the beauty of your father's house. And so whoever came out to compete, so that it's in that sense that I'm talking about it. But I've totally been so honored and overwhelmed by change that some of those stories made in the life of. And kudos to everyone I worked with on that particular story. Yes, because there were people at the end of ensuring that the East and West were well tidied up. But going out there to get it, if you ask me that, what do I remember fondly as character traits that were operational that day? One, courage. The courage wasn't because I was not afraid. It was that I was going ahead to do what I had to do in spite of, I know that I was scared. I knew that this thing could turn the other way. I had measured all the risk.
You had
So
calculated it.
Yes. So the other one was risk-taking, capacity to take risk. It's not a job for lily-livered people. No, it's not a job where you are not willing to step out. Particularly if you are on certain beats or you are assigned to do something. It just means that you are saying you are going back
So
to your house.
Mrs. Obasa, how big is the liver?
Well, I just know it's not Lily liver. It's not Lily. It's not Lily kind of liver. It's stand kakaraka.
Yeah.
So those are the few things that I can say. Risk taking, courage. What other thing? I had one or two of them here. And so all of those were major in ensuring that I was able to. So that's the story. I don't know if you have questions for me.
Wow.
I just have.
Yes, then believe in yourself.
Yes.
I have a way of telling myself that you can do it. Believe in yourself. If you are going to do anything great in life, whether you're a worker, whatever you do, self-confidence is not a sin. It's absolutely okay
Self-confidence.
to have
is
confidence
not a
in
sin.
yourself.
I
Always
picked a
tell
number of
yourself.
things.
Be your
Thank you,
biggest
thank you,
fans
Mama.
every time.
I'm grateful to God that they didn't catch you and just born. I just be like, hold her. She does not leave these promises. Thank you for that. So, wow, a number of things. So be courageous. Never be lily delivered.
Be a risk taker, but
Be a risk
calculate your
taker.
risk.
Calculated.
Yes,
risk.
very important. Don't just see ocean and jump inside. Have a life raft. Okay, so yeah. So like you said, I believe the aces are still working till now. Let's hope.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but my joy is that someone called, one of the guys that I spoke with, that I told that this is what I'm doing,
Yeah.
called to notify me. I think, did he call or sent a message to say updates? The aces are now, and it was just shortly after the story. One of the kudos I must give to the organization where I worked is many of those things happened. Changes happened because those stories pass through Punch. Once Punch says do something, it gets done, and
Thumbs up to
it gives me plenty of pride to look back and say yes, that was a great place.
So one quick question for you now. That question. So in between, there are some situations you find yourself in, and putting yourself in the shoes. Okay, maybe not you now. Putting yourself in the shoes of somebody that is at the receiving side. For example, the woman you said you spoke with on the phone that denied. Did that, or does that? No, it did. It's past. Did that at any point make you feel like, okay, this person is feeling bad, or maybe I should just go soft when I'm writing the story? What if this cost that person is our job? Yes. So for people watching that have those kind of questions, or might be in that kind of situation, what would you advise?
Our liver was not Lily.
It's honestly a very, very good question. But when it comes to that moment in the life of any journalist, that is, people people-centered, community spirited, society inclined, like you want the society to be better. You always have two weights in front of you.
Okay.
So, and you decide that which one is the strongest interest at this point.
Which one has more?
Yes. Which one affects humanity more? Is it to protect this person, an individual, versus the young people? If you are deprived as a lawyer, how do you stand for other people's rights? So we have to step out.
Or simply say, make more people feel.
So we have to weigh the two options and like. So at that moment, you don't think of that person. You only wish that that person came out clean, so that in the record of the story, and you can still go online and read those stories right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can go online and read the story.
Just her byline is always there. Bosede
Olusola-Obasa.
Thank you, mom. Thank you. So I'll be going over to the quote lady to give us just one quote.
Just one.
Yeah, just one quote.
Just one.
Our time is fast gone.
Okay.
Our guest has given us plenty stories, so
plenty quotes too.
yes.
So this one I have for you today is from Kenneth J. Hutchins. I hope I got that right. Kenneth J. Hutchins. And it says, it is your determination and persistence that will make you a successful person. Determination, persistence.
Yeah.
She
It's your
persisted to get
determination
that
and
story out. Yes.
that will
That make you a successful person.
Yes, we have a successful person. Right?
Yes.
It is her determination, her courageous act,
Yes.
her belief in herself. Thank you for choosing to believe in yourself.
It wasn't like I had a choice. I mean, the job has to be done. It wasn't like I had a choice.
Okay, so this is another lovely episode of Mrs. Bosede Olusola-Obasa telling us her stories. I'm sure you are enjoying the stories, but we have to run, we have to go. So it's been a lovely time.
Maybe another one next week.
Yeah. And
Yes.
another one next week after.
Yes.
So she has given us some tips from her memoirs. She has many more to come. Don't worry, like she said last week, when you come to our corporate head office, she's going to put them on. I told her to frame them actually. So she's keeping the newspapers safe. So she's definitely going to frame them. So we've come to the end of the show today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like we always say, we are right here in Red Eye Studios.
Red Eye.
Yeah, Adeoti Street off Akunwajo Road. And to reach Red Eye after the show, you can call them on 090 6969 6248. 090 6969 6248. So Red Eye is into photography, Red Eye is into cinematography, Red Eye is into sound engineering, Red Eye is into media coverage. And just like yesterday, they were the ones that covered. Shout out to Pertinence Limited by
Yeah.
They just
Ire.
launched.
Ire.
They just launched
That's the great thing now.
Product.
a product which is Erie, and Red Eye was right there to cover the event. In fact, if you just go on social media, type Erie now, you'll see all of that. So if you want your event to be that colorful, to have that wow effect, reach out to Red Eye today. Just go to Instagram, Red Eye Studios, and there'll be someone there to return your message. So talk to us at RCV, which is the mother company of Mind Your Character. You can reach us on 0810 612 0819. 0810 612 0819. A lovely lady is right there. So in case you don't want to hear it, guys, but it's a lovely lady is right there. And you can follow us on all our social media handles. Mind Your Character on YouTube and on Facebook. And ensure you leave your notification button, which is on YouTube, so that you always get notified when we go live. So, any parting shots from my co-host?
Well, live your life and
Believe
take all
in
the chances. But make sure you take calculated risks at the end of the day, because the calculation counts.
Yeah.
Any parting shots from me, Mama? Character coach for today.
Yes.
Okay. Well, parting shots. Keep being you. Keep doing you. Keep loving you. giving your best to the world.
Yeah.
The world is incomplete without you.
Yes, thank you very much. And for me, my own parting shot is please get your PVCs. Thank you very much. Yeah. Because this time next year, we would have all made use of it. So please ensure you get your PVC. It's actually expiring this month, which is my first month. So thank you.
It has been moved.
How's it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
I
That's
thought
nice.
you were saying they were not going to move.
Oh. And I thought they had.
They were saying they were not going to move. Okay, so from all of us in Mind Your Character, it's bye for now.
Bye.